All right, good morning, YouTube. Good morning, everyone. It's Caleb and Anthony so far, and we're waiting for Rachel to show up. So what's going on at Meineke Cinnaminson? Well, one, Sierra's no longer with us. One, that was yesterday, right? Two, who is RJ? RJ, we're gonna call, is a troubled teen. And RJ was on a program with his school last summer to be here and on a kind of mentor program. I guess that's how that works. I
have no idea.
I guess it's a mentor kind of thing. So, and I'm really good friends with his father. So he was here on the school program to be in the shop, work with us for a couple hours a day, Monday through Friday. And then he wanted to have the summer off and then some longer. And then when he went back to school, he's having problems in school again. So that program was no longer available for him for some reason or another, and now that he's basically going to wind up being a part-time employee. So we have to get his working papers all straightened out. So he's just going to spend some time with us. So RJ was here on a mentorship program, and emotionally and mentally he was doing very well while he was here. And then he had a gap of where he wasn't here, and then now he's back in school, and he's not doing well there. So they're going to break him up, and he'll be here half a day, and then he'll be a half a day at his school. So he's not like in a normal school program, I don't know. Yeah. So it's basically myself mentoring him being around Caleb, and some people need to be around mature adults. They don't function well with probably people their age or less, right?
Sure you would call yourself that?
Well, I have my moments. So Sierra's plans, as far as I was understanding, is when she graduated school that she would pursue her career or her dream as do body shop work or whatever that school had to offer for her, and then also work here. But now I guess that's all changed, and she basically just said, hey, I'm looking for a job, and take me off payroll, and she's basically done. So we kind of left on good terms. I mean, I would have rather heard this from her at 8 a.m. yesterday when I said I had a full day's worth of work from you instead of at 1:30, but I'm still dealing with young adults here, and people hide behind the phone. I even have adults who hide behind the phone. So that went on yesterday. The weather warmed up. The phone rang. Customers came in. We got cars fixed. What drama went on? Well, let's see. The wind picked up 3 of my feather flags outside. So that's disappointing because my flags were still good. RJ's here. People were asking about you because I guess they didn't know you were here last year.
Oh, I'm a returner.
He's back. So feather flags got ruined. Trash blew all around the parking lot. We managed to stay busy all day long. The phone was ringing. Rachel was frustrated. We basically got everything done. I got cut twice, once, twice, burned once. See that? Burned once. Burned once. Answer a million questions throughout the day for Rachel. We also tried. We were blamed for a center cap missing on someone's wheels that we didn't even take the tires off the car. That was another bunch of shit that I had to deal with. Phone rang off the hook for prices for oil changes. Other shops were calling for technical advice and information while we were busy, which is kind of normal for me to give technical advice to other shops that have known me for a long time. And then there's other shops that that we talk to that we just bounce information off of every once in a while, but that's not the norm. But I do have other shops that I give technical advice and estimates on all day long. Can you change that rag on that lift there? Right here on that arm, RJ? See the rag over here? No, turn around, right here. See that handle? Right here, on the lift. Take that rag off and put a new one on there and then soak up that mess. Caleb and I work well together. Rachel and I butt heads constantly. I'm sure there's some other things that went on at the phone and the counter that I missed. One is why we don't fill master cylinders that are low on brake fluid. If we say the master cylinder's below full or below minimum or below max, and on a visual inspection we don't see any leaks, we assume that there's friction material problems somewhere else. And then when we're told just to fill the master cylinder, I'm just going to give you an example. So I had to explain this to Rachel. This is just what I go through daily, with the nonsense, with the bullshit, and then get my jobs done and focus. Open this hood. So this would be the second car. I'm gonna get Caleb for cylinder cap. So typically, if we can,
That's a UV light.
Typically, if we could see the clarity in a master cylinder, and we were to say, hey, it's low. So to me, it looks like the brake fluid's right here. Would you agree, Caleb? Yep, look, so right there, there's the brake fluid above the minimum mark. So ready? That's how much brake fluid's missing. So even if you take the camera and look inside, there's no brake fluid. So we had a customer yesterday not want to take my advice and just told us to top the brake fluid off. And we were like, yeah, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Then he said, well, what's the measurement on brake pads? And I said,
They're low.
You would be the first person who ever asked me in years, if not even that, when I worked in Philly for state inspections, is what the measurements are, because you have to put the measurements for the tires and the brakes in the back of the inspection sticker. And if I have to do that in a master cylinder low, the car requires some type of work. You know, it didn't leak out, it didn't evaporate. So the reason the master cylinder has a reservoir, it's calibrated so that when the brake pads wear all the way down, right, and say they go down to nothing, that it doesn't suck air into the hydraulic system and you lose your brake pedal. So by you filling up a master cylinder that's low, not knowing that the friction material is at 100%, right, you cause a problem. And then when you overfill it and then you take it in, someone doesn't know what they're doing and they're pushing the calipers back without opening the bleeders or the master cylinder cap, it puts immense amount of reverse pressure in the ABS unit, the RABS valves, the proportioning valves, and everything else. So it creates other problems. So if I say that the master cylinder is low for a reason, one, it's leaking fluid somewhere, and if we can't find that, then it's going to need some friction material or something else. And we were told to just put some brake fluid in it, and I was like, yeah, we don't do that. You can do it, but we're not going to do it. So measurements, in my opinion, at that point when your master cylinder is below max, it's time to freshen up the friction material, regardless of how thick they are, right? And that's that. That's how we do things here. Some shops will not do a catalytic converter without replacing both oxygen sensors, which is stupid. And they won't even advise the cause of why the catalytic converter failed. GDI, fuel injection, air filter, PCVs valve, tune-ups, nothing. But they have to, because that's their policy or that's their procedure, is every catalytic converter gets an upstream and downstream O2 sensor, regardless of the situation. Here, if the O2 sensors are stripped out, they won't come out. That's the only time. If there's a code in it that says that they failed for heater circuits or something else, that's when they get replaced. So every shop is going to be a little different based on how they do it. You get one roofer that does a roof one way, you get another roofer that does it another way, and then you're going to get your scab roofer who will come out here and muck up a hole for you for 25 bucks. You're not going to find that here. We're not going to muck up a hole for you for 25 bucks. But we do not do that. Same with cooling system. The cooling system reservoir is empty down to the bottom. There is a reason why that antifreeze is missing, right? It's either the head gaskets are consuming it in the engine, or there's a leak somewhere that's unidentified. So by you just filling it up, you're not actually fixing anything. You're promoting the problem to continue and become bigger of a problem. So that's a big negative for us. That needs further inspection required if that happens. And it does move up and down, but it should not be empty at any point in time. That indicates a problem. Same thing, your master cylinder is near empty or half full. It indicates something is going on. BMW. So we have this BMW 850 for check engine light. Mother effers, 2 purge valves, one for one side, one for the other. Like, I checked one, what are the chances on the other side being a problem? They were installed at the same time, right?
One's bad to
Yeah, you're talking about a part that's 10 years old, has been cycled 60,000 times, if not more. You just put it, how many times they turn the key on, right? 60,000 miles would be 60. Is that relative? You driven it. No, sorry. 10 year. In relativity, that part is doing this all day long like a fuel injector, right? The purge valve and the vent valve is probably half that pulse width or a quarter of that. What are the chances on all three of them being worn at the same time? Good possibility, right? It's not like one spark plug's not worn out at 100,000 miles. You know, they all need to be replaced at 100,000 miles or 60,000 miles. You know, sometimes tires are different. One will wear more than the other based on alignment, abuse, and front end and characteristics. So the BMW's labor times to try and figure out what's wrong with this car, and the costs are ridiculous. That's on my plate. We have an Alpha Junk Romeo here. Misfire evap codes.
Oh wait, this is what we were seeing like yesterday or something?
Yeah, so these are the two cars on the plate today. And it's crickets here. It's been a circus Monday to Wednesday, and then Thursday, phone's not ringing and there's no cars here. I have no idea what's going on. So a lot of things go on here all day long in the shop environment. I could never imagine being an absentee owner in a Meineke or any other shop. I could never.
Can't do it.
Can't do it. I can imagine the money that absentee owners are in their shop that they're losing. Could be Firestone. I can tell you Pep Boys across the street's losing boatloads of money. There's no doubt about that.
Always need someone in there. Always need a boss there.
So, I mean, they have managers, and they have probably field managers also, but they're not there every day, and just couldn't imagine doing it. If I was an absentee owner here, I would have probably been bankrupt. That's a fact. Yeah, that's a fact. What else? What else went on yesterday? It was fun, Caleb. I mean, you're part of the show as much as I am.
The tire. What happened? The tire thing that got lost. The tire cap.
Oh, the wheel cap. Yeah, so
the wheel cap. Some guy was
an
trying to
account that
accuse
we
us.
do work for, not super regularly, but I mean,
Yeah.
like he trusts me with some expensive vehicles and jobs that they're just nightmares for them. That for us, it's just a daily nightmare routine that we deal with I can't figure this out, or I can't get this apart, I can't install this. Rachel comes out and says, Tony from Finish Line called and said you fucked up the job. I'm like, fucked up the job? What do you mean fucked up the job? That cold air intake is Caleb, clean, perfect install. And I said, the exhaust system, I checked that with Caleb. It is perfect. You can't get any better. No one can get any better. Chrysler themselves did a shitty job versus what we did with an aftermarket part. They melted the spare tire plastic piece around it with their crappy install.
Which gave me extra clearance.
Which gave Caleb extra clearance. So I was busy, then I had to make all my phone calls to the shops who were calling with questions and need prices and, you know, what does this code mean and what should I do here and on and on and on. So I said, hey, what's up, Tone? He's like, yeah, man, where's the center cap for the wheel? I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? He's like, yeah, the center cap's missing. I'm like, what does that have to do with me? We didn't take the wheels off. He's like, nah, man, when you brought it there, it was on the car. I'm like, you drove the car here to my parking lot. It went into our parking lot. I said, the owner's son was here while we were working on it. When we were finished with it, we backed it out of the parking lot into a parking spot, and you came and got it. So then I said, you might want to blame the guy and I said it in more of a
Crass.
what is it called?
Crass.
Crass?
Yeah.
Crass way, because we're cool like that. And I said, you might want to point the finger to somebody else over there. So then he calls me back like 20 minutes later. He's like, hey man, I'm sorry. I'm like, what's up? He's like, yeah, that was sitting on my mechanic's toolbox. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Call me up with some bullshit like that? Like, I got enough fucking stress to deal with all day long than deal with your goddamn nonsense and your stupid fucking employees.
Yeah, losing that one cap is quote unquote ruining the job or some shit.
It
like
ruined
that.
my day because I'm like, come on. How many more people got to try and stick their finger in my asshole for no reason? Like, give it a break. Let alone trying to figure out did I tighten every bolt on a job that I'm tearing the whole car apart to do the job? Did I even put oil in the car because I'm getting punched in the face and pulled in a million directions. So then he actually called back and said, hey, you want to do another exhaust job for me? I'm like, sure, Tone, whatever we got to do. He goes, it's going to be some crazy custom stuff. I'm like, whatever you want, we'll help you out. He's like, I've never heard of this shit before, but the guy, he wants switches on his exhaust and some crazy stuff. He sent me a link. I'm like, hey, just get it and we'll make it happen. So as long as he's willing to pay, is what I said. As long as he's willing to pay, we will make it happen. If he's not willing to pay, then I don't even want to be a part of it.
Probably want some Valvetronic stuff.
It was like that, but it wasn't, old school push-pull. He wants their digital active valves that he can play with, you follow me, himself. So, this is a newer generation active valve exhaust pieces, but we've done electronic exhaust cutouts before on a smaller scale. And I was like, hey, dude, whatever you want to do, I don't care as long as he's willing to pay. And then Conley couldn't figure out. Conley I've been doing business with for 25, 30 years over in Northeast Philly. I'm basically their diagnostic guy via phone. Sometimes they'll even bring it over. That they couldn't figure out post-catalyst too lean.
Like an exhaust leak.
I know, but they're a PA state inspection facility. Like, you should know.
I know. My dad took his truck there to get inspected.
Did he? Yeah. Dean's a good guy and all.
My dad's got he's got an F-350 with a utility bed on there.
Yeah, Dean's a great guy, and he's older, and he doesn't really want to know. They're more brakes, tires, oil change kind of people, and he relies on, our diagnostics and things like that. And I was like, dude, are you serious? I said, does the car have an exhaust leak? He goes, yeah. I'm like, is it on the same side that the code's coding for the oxygen sensor? He goes, I don't know. I'm like, come on, help me out here a little bit. Post catalyst too lean. Is there an exhaust leak? Can you hear it? If you can't hear it, you can't see it, you got to use a smoke machine. Come on, dude, help me out. He's like, can we just bring it over? I'm like, no, you do the little legwork first. You call me what your fucking findings are, and then I'll tell you what we need to do to fix it.
Go to Meineke, we'll make it happen. We'll make it work.
We will, but his customers aren't like, I don't know what it is. Like, as soon as they start hearing 1,000, 1,500, $2,000, they don't do nothing. We never, he calls us for pricing to do stuff, other than replacing the turbocharger on that one car, because he went to other shops, they couldn't figure it out, they were lost, Dane didn't know what to do with it, and we came here like, we're putting a new turbo on and we're starting from scratch. And, we figured it out, and that was probably the only $2,000 or $2,500 job that we've seen from there. Tons of like a couple $100 jobs, but I appreciate all the work. And they drive across the bridge, and pay the toll, and I pay the toll to go and pick up cars. So we have relationships. So relationships is important, and everyone out here in YouTube land can relate, from mechanic, owner, troubled teenager, to aspiring, master technician in the field.
Aspiring massive technician.
Rachel, with the most time off in history for any employee in the world.
12.
Personal issues. I got burned yesterday.
Oh shit, that one was good.
That's a good one, right? So I got burned, I got cut. And then I was hoping, because my mind is like, it's just like red line all day long, waiting for work. And then as soon as I don't get any work, I'm like getting ready to throw a connecting rod. As soon as I get working, I can stay busy and start multicasting and juggling. My mind goes from here to like normal, and then as soon as there's nothing for me to stimulate myself, I'm getting ready to throw a connecting rod. I need stuff to keep me busy.
Need something to do.
So now we're gonna go make Rachel call all of our used car dealers and say, open the gates and send some work over here. When the retail customer's not coming in, this is how I balanced my business system here and keeping everyone busy and paid. Somebody had some other questions. I forget what it was. I think that's it for now. Nobody wanted a cool belt buckle or a knife? What's going on out here? Free, dude. You don't even have to come and buy nothing. Somebody call the shop today and say, hey, I'll take that belt buckle and knife.
Wait, you got a knife? I've been needing a knife for here. For work.
I question you with a knife right now. I don't know how your dad would feel about that. All right, guys. Thanks for watching.